Okay, can everyone hear? Yeah. The next speaker we have today is Alon Konchitsky, Dr. Alon Konchitsky. Dr. Konchitsky previously worked, early in his career with Nokia, followed by KKR, which we know is a large private equity organization. He also was the CTO of Noise Free, worked with Apple, and he has an interesting story I'll let him talk about when he talks about Apple. He was also the CTO and co-founder of Patent Hive. He has worked for almost 4 years with Intel as the head of the AI Center of Excellence at Intel. And currently he's the head of AI and engineering at Imagery and Liquid Capital. Liquid Capital is investor in AI organizations, and Imagery is focused specifically on image recognition AI. And Alan's going to talk more about his area of expertise and what he does. And Alan's here to talk mainly about Gen AI. And how do you separate the hype from reality in Gen AI? And over to you, Alan. Great to have you here.
Thank you very much. Should I share my screen, by the way?
Yeah, I think that'd be great. If you share your screen, then everybody can see that, and that may be easier. Are you able to share your screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, it's working. Okay, we see it. We see the screen. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so you're good to go. You can start anytime too.
I'm working.
I don't know why I can't move the slides. Oh, it's working. Okay, in any case, so thank you everybody for coming today. I'm sorry I couldn't make it in person the last moment, but I intended to. I wanted to start speaking from my experience on the. By the way, do you see the slides right now?
Yes. We see the brain.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So I wanted to speak about not really the hype, but really what's happening out there, because the world of artificial intelligence is really experiencing a unique time right now. And this is mainly thanks to those advances in generative AI that offers powerful tools for analyzing and generating new content. And it really democratizes AI. The reason for that is because it's providing access for all of us as individuals and businesses, and brings new potential to how generative AI could really transform industries and how people really work. And I think that's what would continue to happen within the next 5 years, to my mind, because AI models provide very valuable insights that are including different analyses of different large amounts of data, and generate new content that really lead to improved decision based on better analytics of a lot of unstructured data. I think it could also enhance the customer experiences and higher customer satisfaction, really streamlining processes and improve workflow efficiency. We do see that the computers really have gotten smarter and smarter, and they got into the ability to learn and think with those different technologies like the ChatGPT that we're familiar with. I've stole a kind of example here where I'm saying that we do have the kind of a lot of knowledge of humanity in one place that we were teaching, getting into it. And I understood that you got an insight into how does that work and what are neural networks and what they do. So I wouldn't get back to it again. But I must say that this kind of a very smart machine is out there to everybody's disposal. And the place where we're think right now is that the biggest limitation is actually ourselves. We are the ones that are limiting the ability of utilizing this person to our this knowledge to and those capabilities to our disposal. And that's what prompt engineering is all about. So all I want you to take out from that is that if we are able to think smarter and improve our prompt engineering skills, we'll be able to do it much better and get it much more efficient. With having said that, I'll skip quickly through the terminology. So the way this all started is with or this generative AI or GPT started, this generative pre-trained transformer, that's what the GPT is all about, started in 2017 by the guy that founded OpenAI, Ilya here. Back then, he left Google, and I would recommend to maybe go and read this paper that's available out there, and it is always or the name of the paper is "Attention is all you need." That's where already in 2017 this group forecasts what a GPT and generative AI is going to give us. So if we look on the terminology, so AI is artificial intelligence. It's very, very broad term. Underneath AI, we have this machine learning, computer vision, and other fields that were invented a long time ago, probably 3 decades ago. And recently, generative AI actually came to be so successful because of the advances in compute. And you probably heard that up to about a year ago that nobody was able even to run that and be able to train all the internet or most of the world's knowledge into this generative pre-trained transformer because there wasn't enough compute and enough memory. And you probably heard that generative AI or those LLMs are utilizing hundreds of billions of parameters, or hundreds of sometimes a multi-billion parameters, and it goes already to trillion parameters. What that means is that there is a need for huge amount of, I would say, a memory, which is in the size of a Costco warehouse environment to host those capabilities. And up to almost a year ago, NVIDIA was kind of holding huge, I would say, inventory of GPUs, and you can see that their stock actually went down dramatically back then. And Jensen, the CEO of NVIDIA, actually said, I'm going to allocate some of my huge inventory to this group at OpenAI and see where that would take us. And that's where the revolution really started. So they were able to compile or to run this large language model with scanning all the internet up till 2022 or approximately 2022. And that's what really made this revolution. I don't want to get into the details into how it works. I understood that this morning there was a session that explained something about neural network. What I wanted to say is that it works very similar to the way that we as humans learn to speak, to discern between different types of animals, and really walk, and then or crawl and then walk and then run. So that's the point that I wanted all of us to take out of how it works. But it is important to understand that there are some specific traits that are utilized in this training of those LLMs. This is called backpropagation. It is a way to kind of replicate with the attention is all you need on the paper that I mentioned before, to replicate the way that children would really learn and promote their experiences. Because there are lots and lots of text here. When we're looking on a snapshot of all the internet from, let's say, 2022, we are seeing a large piece of information that is really all put into those neurons in our brain, and that's why instantly the LLM or the machine can pull this information, help us write articles, write stories, analyze a lot of data, and be way more efficient than just a group of people by themselves. So think about it as the smartest person. Could be even Einstein, but somebody that has all these capabilities, both in memory and in brain power. I wanted to mention that there are different models, those LLMs or pre-trained transformers or those GPTs models out there from many providers. Some of them from OpenAI, some others from Meta or Facebook, some others from Google, like Bard. And every other day we hear about another one and another one that are that are really invented and pre-trained and really sent to all of us to be used. Some of them are faster, some others are more specialized, some other really are more cost effective, and many of them are like just open source. So if we wanted to implement one in our specific organization, we can do that pretty quickly. I wanted to kind of, and this is another example that I quoted a different group, but I wanted to show the capability of this very powerful tool in different domains. So for example, here, if we just load a picture of a room to like GPT or to any of those Gen AI LLMs, and we'll ask where could be the wallet, for example, hidden. So it would understand that there are different objects in the room, same as our brain is looking into a room, and it could think like maybe the wallet would be underneath the table, or maybe we forgot it on the couch. So that's how smart it can go. And here I wanted to explain like those different models that would be taken and how they would be combined together, same as our brain. So for example, we can ask whatever we want, but we can ask to generate, for example, text, and this text would be translated to image. We can ask to, for example, describe a specific example, or generate a paragraph, or write a story, or define or look for an answer for customer support. We could also utilize those models to transform speech to text. So whenever we're in a call center, we could really transform the all speech to text and then provide some analysis into it, like what's the sentiment of those specific conversations with the customer support. And by the way, that would happen in a click of a button very, very quickly. There are some other modalities where we can utilize specific or like many different types of text and ask it to provide a video, for example. We could like ask Darth Vader to surf on the ocean, and that's what we'll get. It could generate a video for us. And by the way, all those modalities are opening so many different possibilities in different industries, which I think will continue to grow in the next few years. And right now, there are some issues with, again, with compute that I mentioned that was solved by NVIDIA last year and then increased their share dramatically. But I think that with the introduction of so many models that we see there, this problem will be solved, and the ROI for generative AI would start to be kind of positive. So the companies and bigger organizations will be able to utilize it in a very cost-effective manner. I just wanted to say one more point here. The power of those models are very similar to like human brain power, and here I'm using some examples. Like I'm saying, if we take an image of an Einstein again, and we say kind of blend it with a cat, so that would be the blending or the fusion that the model would create, same as an artist that would think about making something like that. I wanted to speak a little bit about some emergent capabilities and what happened specifically in the last, I would say, couple of years, because we can see in the age of AI that for about maybe 80 years or even 100 years, just to look on the whole century, I believe that the AI capabilities starting from basic small models and then growing to those medium models and then large models are kind of taking a lot of energy. But if we take a look on what is this point today, we could say that the amount of neurons, the amount of actual brain capabilities that are available in compute today are kind of surpassing the human intelligence. And this is something that would continue to grow exponentially with the a very powerful compute and memory that is introduced by GPUs. Here I kind of try to explain how this revolution would be happening. So I do see very fast revolution growing forward, and that's outperforming the many thousands of years where humans just found like how to start a fire, and then actually were able to grow and crops and increase agriculture, and all the way to the industrial revolution that started with the printing press and then evolved to transportation and communications. I believe that that's going forward to exponentially grows within the next a couple of years, to my mind, or maybe a little bit further. But that's how I see that. I do wanted to mention that there is a mindset out there that many organizations are really denying the progress and the positivity that AI are bringing to the world, and sometimes even people or organizations are really panicking. There is a thought that really AI is going to reduce jobs or maybe fire so many people, and the computers would really with this artificial intelligence would really occupy the world, and we see those movies where those robots are really taking over the world. I think that we are far from there, because most of those models has been trained in a kind of a positive way rather than a negative way to really show how to rob a bank or how to really try to do a negative action. So, I think that this kind of panic and denial is just taking out a organization from being an AI first organizations, and the ones that would be slow to act on those directions with the digital twin transformation all the way to the generative AI. I think that that would kind of let a company stay behind rather than be successful and implement it as it should be. With having said that, I believe that the human role is very still needed. For example, at UCSF, I was able to get an FDA approval to replace a human doctor in emergency room to really help patients survive specific situations that couldn't be fastly and accurately diagnosed by human doctors. But I still think that like generative AI would really be helping to each one of those professions in different ways if we are aware of the data that we are utilizing and what call these hallucinations. Because the same way as we as people make mistakes, the same way that those other I would say machines could really have those errors and hallucinations. But the bottom line is that humans with a machine learning has a specific synergy that could really outperform and drive us to much bigger challenges than we see right now. And one field that I'm diving into right now very deeply is like legal compliance. I'm working with the SEC to try to see how there are ways rather than no ways to bring this colleague into the legal world and try to accelerate procedures and make everything faster, more accurate, without those weaknesses like hallucinations that I mentioned, if the data and the contracts and the specific rules that has been defined would be implemented into the model. That's all. So I wanted to leave some time to questions and maybe open for a discussion.
to hear, perhaps you can hear you, I'm not even sure if your microphone's okay. Alan, are you able to hear us from out here?
Yes, I hear you very well.
Okay.
It's not as being in person, and I'm in favor of being in person, so I'm sorry again I couldn't make it. But if you have any questions or if you need some time to digest, I'm happy to do that. Or if I'm out of time already, because I know that I was given only 20 minutes, I'm also happy to let you think, and we can reconvene on a different time or later at the other sessions.
Questions going once? Going twice? All right. Well, thank you for the time, Alan. We'll let you go.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.